Hi crafters, this is Raquel from Paints and Glitter here with some beautiful items from Paper Rose Studio. I'm going to be sharing with you a DT haul, and then I'm going to share with you a project. So I guess I'll start here. This is a set of dies, I should say, that I picked up. And these are the Etch Stem Builder metal die. And this says Etch Stem Builder 1, so that leads me to believe that there's more in this series. Creates these little delicate blooms, so I thought that would be a lot of fun to incorporate to any springtime projects. And the largest die here is just under here. Yeah, the stem here is just 3 3/4 inches tall. And the little blooms here are about 4/8 inches tall. So that gives you an idea of how delicate they'll look when they're all put together. Then I also picked up this classic set here, and this is the Vintage Labels 1, and as you can tell, they're nesting label style dies, or I shouldn't call them labels, but you could create labels with them if you wanted to, and they have this little kind of hexagonal shape, but I like the fact that they're not an entire rectangle, just a little different take on rectangles. And then it does have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 dies here, and I don't think it says it on the packaging, but I thought that was a good deal to get those. And along with those, I did get the Tickets metal die. I had my eye on these, and these are so cute. They're a little bit smaller than I thought they would be, but I think they're adorable. And these are 2 inches long, and they do have the different styles here. And I really like that it came with these tiny little stars and also little hearts that you could of course use to embellish them. And then they do have that little perforated edge here, and there are different shapes, as you can tell. Then along with that, they are the matching Ticket Creator stamps. So these are 2 by 6. The 6 inches is the fact that this all fits within that space there. But these have seat number 026, little things like that, $15, admit 1, and another seat number, a barcode, admit 1, the little hearts that I mentioned, and the star and heart. And then there's a thank you, happy birthday, best wishes, party time, love you. So I really think that's adorable because of course you can pair them up. Now let's get to the papers. I don't think, oh wait, I have more. Okay, so I also grabbed Dainty Foliage metal die. I thought this was gorgeous for any time of year, and of course you can group them together or use them separately, especially if you're going to pair them up with other little flowers to make some embellishments there. I got this little butterfly stamp. It's called Fiona Butterfly. So pretty. I really love the little polka dot edges. And along with that, I also got a collection here, and I forgot that I had been coloring. Okay, so I got this 6 by 6 collection of papers. You guys know, if you've watched this channel before, I love the 6 by 6. However, this time I also got the 12 by 12 collection of the same style. So let's open the smaller one. And these are, by the way, 18 double-sided pattern papers, 3 of each of 12 designs, printed on 200 GSM paper. Someday I'm going to memorize that. Now I know the eye gets busy, so let's clear this off a bit. This is the cover, and there's nothing here, but immediately you see the cut aparts, and in this case they're a little bit smaller, but there are sentiments included. There's keep blooming. This one just says bloom, and it has that beautiful bouquet. This one says you have to keep going to keep growing, live life in full bloom. There's the watering can. There's a little flower stall on that little kind of van or camper van, the butterfly, and a bouquet there. So very pretty. And on the back of that is this beautiful blue. And this says J.M. Thornburn and Company bulbs for fall planting. So it's one of those seed packet images with a bunch of script there. And the jars full of flowers, just so very pretty. And I'm sorry if I was out of frame. This was a really pretty pink, and it does say New York. Hey! So this one is the butterflies, and oh, I just love this. This paper is gorgeous. There's that watercolor effect all throughout. Stunning. A polka dot purple, can't go wrong with that. This one has the little blooms on the bottom as if it were a little garden with a pink cloud sky. And then there are these blue flowers. I don't think there's going to be a single paper in this collection I'm not going to love. Smaller little butterflies with a white background. And then there's this damask rose color with the writing again in the back. There's this one here, and it has more of a tropical feel to it with the bright yellow background, and then the blooms on each corner, and the pinks and blues, and the nice deep green leaves. And then here are more seed packets, all in that dark lavender, and then it repeats itself. So let's move on to the 12 by 12. So we just saw the 6 by 6. Now let's take a look at the same collection, only larger. And of course I'll have to move it up and down, but this is the cover, and you can still use it with any crafting that you may do, especially this bottom portion here. Remember those tickets I mentioned? They are the perfect size to cut these out. So that is phenomenal. And of course, these right off the bat are just stunning. So these are 12 double-sided pattern papers, 2 each of 12 designs versus 3. So again, there's that cut apart sheet. The colors are nice and intense. If you have not purchased any papers from Paper Rose Studio, I'm going to tell you that you will be quickly very pleased with how beautifully printed they are, and the weight. If you hear that sound, they're not flimsy, okay? So there's that beautiful seed packet background, but with the nice blues and all of the script. Oh, the jars. When the larger image is so beautiful. Oh, so pretty. And then this is that green damask background. It's not just green. So I appreciate the fact that they would go ahead and add even more visual texture with just that subtle little difference in colors there. And then this is more of a chevron with the script there on the top and the little flowers here at the bottom, but with that deeper pink. And I love that they added the stripe at the bottom, because you can use that or just leave it as is. No need to cut it away. Oh, the beautiful butterflies. This is just stunning, stunning, stunning. Okay, it's going to be hard to cut into that one. And then the purple. And again, here's that striped bottom. There's again that garden of blooms at the bottom here. And these all, by the way, have individual names on the bottom. If you notice that Flower Shop Basics D, because you can get these in packs of 24, if I'm not mistaken. So if you fall in love with one sheet, you can go on the page and order a stack of just that one kind of paper. So if you have a special project in mind, and say your favorite color is blue, then you can sway your project in that direction in terms of colors. So I think that is absolutely amazing, especially if you love, for instance, butterflies as I do. Then you can just go ahead and look up Flower Shop Basics E and see the package all there for you. So there's the back. There's that beautiful vibrant yellow, and this one with all of those different images of kind of like ads. It reminds me of old magazine ads, or catalog, seed catalog is what it reminds me of, and then it repeats itself. I was also sent this 12 by 12 pack of Easter Memories Basics papers, and the idea was to make a project for Easter. Now Easter has already come and gone, so what I'll do is that I will still make a project, and I'll see how I can incorporate these papers into maybe more of a spring theme project. So let me show you here all of the sentiments. And of course you can cut these apart, you can use them in tags, you can use them in your ephemera, anything, or just as a basic card that you may want to make. So these are 12 double-sided pattern papers, 2 each of 12 designs. Here are the cut aparts, and the other design team members have made samples using this paper as well. So you want to take a peek at them because they're absolutely darling. Look at that bunny face. I mean, are you kidding me? If you don't participate in Easter at all, you can still use these images because they're just spring related. So for instance, for myself, Easter is not related at all to eggs. It's more of a faith celebration for me. So I really like the fact that they would use this rejoice, because that is in reference to a Bible verse that I know, and I really like that. But then there's over here this Hello Spring with the boots and the tulips, and that's kind of this kind of overall message of, you know, new beginnings, and I really like that as well. So there, of course, is the other little images here of the little chick inside the egg. There's a happy Easter with the little eggs here and there. And then there are these, which are really cute because you have the stripe and you have the plaid, and then if you flip it over, then you just have this beautiful checked pink, and then gingham. And this is more of a minty green. So if you see the difference between these, there's not much difference. So if you happen to own that mat, then you know what I'm referring to. Again, with the names, Easter Memories Basics, if you're looking for a particular color, say you're making a memory book for a baby and you need this color, then you can go ahead and pick up an entire pack. But look at this. This is so, so darling. I love the image of this little baby lamb and the little birdhouses and everything else. It's just so, so cute. So, and then again at the bottom, we have that beautiful lavenders. Here is now a full page of eggs. So if you do like this sort of thing, then if you're thinking ahead, maybe for next year, you can still pick this up and make some really beautiful projects. There's the nice kind of, I would say, peachy color gingham. And I really like this because it's this natural wood, but then there's tones of peach and greens, which is a little different than the norm, and I really, really like that. So Easter Memories Basics D is the name of that one. And on the other side, we have this gorgeous greenery. Love that. It's a basic but really beautiful paper, and this is anything but basic. These blooms are stunning. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. And then there's this polka dot, again with more of a peach tone. There's this one, and this reminds me of my childhood. I want to say that I had a dress with fabric just like this. It's so pretty with all of those different tones. I'm almost positive I had fabric like that. And then there's this window pane looking check paper with a little bit of yellow at the bottom. And that repeats itself. I almost forgot to mention the embossed die cuts that match with the Easter Memories Basics paper. So I wanted to mention that this is also from the same collection. There are 4 sheets of 6x8 embossed pop-out die cuts, so you don't have to worry about fussy cutting. They're also printed on 200 GSM cardstock. You get 4 designs and 1 sheet of each. So let me show you those. So here is the first one, and right off the bat you see that adorable little bunny image, and of course they are embossed, so let me show you what that looks like. I think they're so pretty. In fact, I forgot to turn on my light, guys. Okay, so hopefully you can see that a little bit better now, and my apologies that it was looking a little bit dim there. Maybe now you get a better idea of what the color looks like. So here's a little Easter basket with the eggs. There's this gorgeous little robin. There's a little butterfly, but it's in that plaid paper. The tulips that are so perfect for this time of year. Another little lavender butterfly, but this one has little flowers in it. I think those are so clever. There's that little egg, and it's already got the stripes and everything on it. And then this gorgeous little nest down here with these little eggs, and then the one is painted. I think that's so cute. There's the little truck with eggs in the little cabin. There's also a little pail. Then the blue butterfly here. So you have a series of these. There's this darling little duckling with flowers. Another little robin surrounded here with this wreath and these gorgeous flowers. There's also a little bow, another bunny, and so on and so forth. You get to see these darling images, and of course I love the fact that there's different hues, different colors within the images, so they aren't exactly carbon copies of each other. For instance, I'm noticing right off the bat that there are 4 different types of bunnies, 4 different colors. Even though these are very, very similar in color, still they're not sitting in the same exact position. And then the same goes for the little nests. So that makes me excited because it gives you a bit of variety. And then the same goes for these little images there with the little eggs. And the butterflies are just to die for. They're gorgeous. So I am super excited. I'm going to make a little project for you and I will be back. Here's the result of what I've made. I went ahead and put my little mind to work and decided that I would incorporate these papers into creating a little birdhouse. So I'm giving you here a 360 so you get to see how beautiful those papers all look together. And there's the little robin, and I've got ahead and placed a little button here that looked like a branch to me. I thought that was really cute. And there's that wreath, which is part of the ephemera, those die cuts that you can get your hands on. The top opens, and I did supplement this not only with the papers that you can cut out from the collection, which I'm going to zoom out on so you can see them a little bit better. And okay, so there's that detail there. On the top here, I did place a piece of fabric that I just tore and I had splattered. I keep these little tidbits of fabric from other projects even, and then just use them here and there. I did tie some twine here. I added a little bee charm and a heart. If you know me, you know why. And here is some of this kind of nest material, 2 different types of lace here. So there's this wider ivory lace on the bottom and then this more creamy color on top. These papers are all from the paper collection. I took an entire sheet and fussy cut all of the flowers out of it. On top here, however, there's a spray, and these are little birdie flowers that I used there. On the side, you see the butterflies from the paper collection. Of course, I did embellish them in my own style. So that one got little rhinestones. This one got little beads. So I did layer 2 different butterflies there. One of them is that pink shabby chic looking one, and the other one's the more little orange one. I cut away the white border on this one so that you could at least see a little bit of that pink one underneath. All of these flowers are fussy cut. They're so, so pretty. I just fell in love with the papers and I had so much fun crafting with them. On this side, you can see I did pop up some of the florals as well. So I fussy cut out some of the flowers and added different dimensionals or dimensional adhesive. And let me show you maybe this way. So you get to see there is some dimension on this project just on the box. Then that little bird cage I had in my stash for years. So I just added little white diamond dots to that. This little gorgeous bird image with the egg was part of the ephemera collection. Now when you open it, this houses a little book, but I want you to see that I even lined the inside. So you get plenty of paper because you get more than one sheet. The only thing I did not line, and maybe you can see it there, is the very bottom inside. And that's because I figured no one would really be looking in there, but I did line the bottom of this box. And here is the little memory book. So I did a very simple mini. I thought it was so adorable. So this does measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then the spine is 2 inches wide. So it's not very big, but you still can fill this with a lot of photos. So here, first you see a spray of flowers, again from that very same sheet that I fussy cut. Then from the die cut, I used another one of these little images. This one already came with the little robin in the center. What I did is that I fussy cut the middle portion out. So this was all one piece. I backed it up, with vellum, added dimensional adhesive for a little bit of shadow. And then as you can see there, I do love to add little gems and shiny things to my projects. But then there's this little button here. This is from Tim Holtz, so if you're curious about that, it is a brad. So I was super happy to have that in my stash and be able to use it. Here I decided to go a little bit darker on the spine and then all the way around. It's decorated. You do see some splatter here and there. I did that on purpose using some ink. The twine closes this book, and it does have 2 antique buttons there on the end holding that together just for fun. It opens just by unraveling it, and then you have page 1 with a little pocket right off the bat on the inside. More dimensional floral details there because I did fussy cut that. I added another little spray here using this die here. This is the Dainty Foliage metal die. So I did cut that out of some paper that I had already embellished using some mediums that I have. I did cut out this image here from the paper collection with that gorgeous little chick inside the little egg. And then this little bow came in the collection, so I adhered it onto this little tag, and if you see there, they're reinforced. I was able to make those with these tags here. I love these dies. These are the stitch tags, metal dies, and it does come with 4 different sizes and 3 different types of pull reinforcers. So that's what you see there. This one here is a little pocket I made using this ephemera piece that was cut apart from the same sheet as this one, and it says Rejoice. I absolutely love that. And then up here is a floral spray. Now maybe you can tell, but all of it has been inked. Every single paper with the exception of the foundation pages here, which are an ivory card. Everything else has been inked, and I did use a Distress Oxide in the color Walnut Stain for this whole project. Then I added one of these little gold clips just for fun. It's got a little heart on it. I thought that was super cute. But in here, you can place a photo right behind there. So that's what I wanted to show you there. And then there's little gems and all that. The next page looks like this. Let me close them properly. So it opens up just like this. This is one page spread. It has the little birds on this side, super cute with the eggs, and then over here, a beautiful little tulip. It's got a little bow that I created just using some thin twine. It opens up like this, and here I used a cut apart from a different collection. This was a previous embossed die cut collection from the Rustic Easter tags and tickets. So I did use that by backing that up with vellum and then adding a little flag from that same collection. I just thought it looked really nice there. And over here, all of these papers are from this particular collection, of course. The only thing that I did supplement were a couple of those little die cuts, and that's it. The next page opens like this, and it has a little ticket down here. It's got these lilies, and of course you could fit a photo behind there. I did add another one of those gorgeous little butterflies here, and I did add little diamond dots down the center. This page opens like this, so you have plenty of room here for photos. I did make another ticket here, splattered that with ink, and then this one I attached to the side of the page, and it says, "You can find me where the wildflowers grow." That's also from this other Rustic Easter tags and tickets. So again, I just supplemented a couple of these little items, but not very many. Everything else you'll be able to find in this collection. And here's that darling little bunny here. So the other thing I did, and I forgot all about it, but this piece of paper back here in the background is actually from the Bees and Butterflies collection. I love those papers as well. So I went ahead and added that behind that bunny. There's again those little branches, more little gems, and here's one little ticket from this collection and a little floral spray. I just added some twine there, or cream thread, and that's a little side pocket on that page. It opens up like this, and more little leaves over here, little gems, and pretty straightforward. Everything got this little ticket style punch on the corners, just because I wanted it to all be cohesive and super easy to make, because what's important is that the pages look pretty with all these darling papers. That's what I really wanted to stand out here. This one says Springtime. I added some little sequins there, and it is layered with another piece of ephemera there. that one opens like this, and I love the spread. I think it's so pretty, and I mean, sometimes it's just the paper can be super simple, but just the way that it all looks together and cohesive. And of course I did supplement it with this craft colored cardstock, but considering that it did come out of a bird's nest, I figured that would be appropriate. You let me know, what do you think? So here, by the way, this dove does tuck in here, and this was my favorite image out of all of them. I was going to use this on the birdhouse, and I completely forgot. I got sidetracked making those butterflies, but I'm happy that I was able to incorporate it, at least in the little book. And then the very last page is this one here, and then of course there's a photo mat that you can use as a template for every single one of the pages. I love including a template in every single memory book that I make. This one happens to be one of the simplest I think I've ever made, but it's a lot of fun to do that, of course, so that way the recipient can cut down the pictures to the size that will fit the book and know that it's going to be perfect. And here's more of those florals, and also supplemented with the little die cuts and just a little bit of shine there. As you can tell, I did use some little golden strips throughout just to bring that all together and make it super classy. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget that I always have the links in the description bar of my videos should you want to shop for any of these items. They are available worldwide, even though this is an Australian company. If you reside in the US, you'll be able to pick them up as well. I hope that you are inspired, that you can be blessed. I'm going to keep playing with this. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.